Okay, so now moving right along, we're going to start looking at some practice examples. Got another couple, 2, 3 pages here, and I'm sorry, this is a huge section, probably one of the hardest in the entire semester, which is why we're taking only one section today in its entirety. We'll also give you some time on your homework to complete it, and I'll try to post some lab videos too for answers because this stuff's very tricky. So on page 126, again, section 4.3 in your book, really how derivatives affect the shape of your graph. There's a practice portion just asking you to look at these graphs, A, B, C, and D. And if this is your function, you're ready to do this because I've hopefully been prepping you all semester. They're asking to kind of determine the sign of both your first derivative and your second derivative. Your first derivative here is going to be positive. The slope everywhere in this graph is positive. So G prime here is positive. Now remember, I've always been asking you, how does the slope relate? As you're moving from left to right, I'm going positive to more positive to more positive. So my function, the slope is increasing. I don't care about the value, positive or negative, but the slope actually is increasing from over here. As I move to the right, my x values to the right, I'm getting more and more positive. And for that reason, my first derivative is changing positively, so my second derivative will be positive as well. So positive, positive. Again, the second derivative is positive because my slope is increasing. I'm going from positive to more positive. Another way for that to happen, now check this out. My slope here is negative, negative, less negative, less negative, less negative. So my first derivative here will be negative. However, what's happening to the value, if you can imagine, I don't care if this is a -10 to -7 slope to -5 slope, as I progress to the right, my values are getting less negative. So actually my slope is increasing to some extent as I move this way, comparing this slope to the next one to the next one. So I'm getting less negative the whole time. So what will happen is, because your first derivative is actually getting more, less negative, it's increasing. So your second derivative will be positive if we practice this one. And at any time, you can go ahead and just pause the video and see if you can come up with these yourself, and then, compare to the answers I'm giving you. This slope is negative to more negative to more negative to more negative. Well, the slope right off the bat is negative. But the second derivative is getting more negative. So because its value is decreasing, this is going to be negative as well. Over here, and pause the video if you want. My slope is positive, getting less positive, less positive, less positive, less positive. But the first one for me was always easy. I always can see if it's positive or negative. Those are my dogs you hear in the other room, if you can hear them. And afterwards, it's going positive, less positive, less positive, less positive, less positive. So because that's happening at my slope, the values actually, from one change to the next, the slope of my tangent lines are decreasing. So that's going to be a negative. Okay, so just another way to look at graphs and how they occur. Next video, we'll put this into practice.